thank you everyone for taking time to join this session today, and we will try to make it worth your time, of course. And in today's session, I would just like to uh, give a few caveat. Well, first, I'd like to say I hope everyone is keeping safe. So you may be attending from your home office or from your work office. Either way, please stay safe. And also, at this point, I would like to have some uh, disclaimer or like setting expectations that there may be some disruption. So I am working in a very good office at home, but there might be some disruptions along the way. I would like to apologize for them in advance. There might be some background noise that you may be hearing. Okay, so I guess that's the new normal right now. And do let me know if you have any questions along the way by, as mentioned by Nina, sending your questions in the panel pane. So I hope everyone can now see my screen. I am now showing my agenda page. And so, okay, so in this session today, we will be covering mainly this is app in an hour. We'll see how we can come up with an app and how fast we can learn in doing so within an hour's time span. And first, before doing that, we'll cover an overview of our company. Who are we? Who is Hitachi? What's our expertise? What's our focus? And also, we'll cover the Microsoft platform overview. Then it'll be followed by a video recording in two parts. So we have the Power Apps demo as well as the Power Apps walkthrough. We've prepared this in a video format so that we can ensure that there will be no disruption around connectivity and all that. But this is a live broadcast that you are hearing right now, and questions will be answered towards the end of the call and of this webinar. And after the Q&A, we'll have a closing session. So on the Q&A, we are going to be spending about 8 to 10 minutes for that. And so if you have questions along the way, just feel free. It would be better if you raise them so that our panelists, our proctors who are also in attendance in this webinar can take those questions in advance. So let me just introduce myself briefly. So as mentioned, I'm Johanna. I'm the Senior Director of CRM. I am located here in the Philippines. I belong to our Hitachi Solutions Philippines office, which is under Hitachi Solutions Asia Pacific. And my focus areas would be on D365 customer engagement. So that includes sales, marketing, and customer service. Also, I have a focus on field service, RPA, retail loyalty. We also have banks and fins. We have a solution on that, and we have also on digital transformation, Power Platform, and social engagement. And for the implementation experience, I have over 15 years across different verticals for all of this CRM in the CRM space. Okay, so okay, I hope everyone's okay. Okay, with that, without further ado, let me now start with the introduction. So Hitachi, we are that yes, big brand, the Japanese brand that is very familiar in your household. Yes, we are that same aircon brand that you have. We are that same heavy equipment brand that you're very familiar with. We are that same Hitachi, just about any Hitachi brand that you can see. And we are about 303 globally in terms of employee number. And there's about 864 companies, out of which 677. So majority of it would actually be residing out of Japan. Then we are ranked as 102 for Fortune Global 500, and we're ranked as number 8 for the specific technology companies. And we have presence in over 100 countries all over the world. Now with this big brand, Hitachi Limited, let's take a closer look at who we are exactly. In terms of offering, we have what you can see right now are the different offerings and business segmentation of Hitachi. So it gives you an idea of how wide our services are and where our presence would be. So yes, we are in information and telecommunication systems. That's about 21.6%. Then we are also in social infrastructure and industrial systems. We're about 25.5%. And we have about 12.8 on electric systems and equipment. And of course, there's about 6.1% on smart life, out of which we are focused on the 21.6% because that's where we belong to. As to who would be we, that would be Hitachi Solutions. So Hitachi Solutions Limited is a team within the Hitachi family that's about 3,000 in size, and we are in over 14 countries. In this group, we are focused on Microsoft solutions, and mainly these are our main goal and our main task is to implement systems for companies, take their requirements, take their needs, take their business pains, and then convert them into workable solutions that would make their life easier. We are across different verticals, so I will be showing a few of those later on. So for Hitachi Solutions Limited, this is how big our group is. So in that 3,000 member, the biggest would be in India, which is our global delivery center. And we also have offices. We are quite big in Japan, in Europe, followed by the US. And then, of course, the group that I belong to, the purple dot, which is Southeast Asia and ANZ. So there's about 300 employees in that workforce. And we work on a manner of wherein we share resources. So what this is actually telling us is we are that big. Yes, we're big, but we are also small enough to listen. We have local resources would be assisting in every country where you might be located. And being true to our commitment to the Microsoft products that we are implementing, as proof of the excellence in the implementation space, we have been awarded 42 times as Microsoft Partner of the Year, out of which you have the numbers in there. We've been 15 times Microsoft Inner Circle, 15 times Microsoft Gold Partner, and all of those. But what I'd like to just mention or highlight at this point is just to give you an idea as to how the awards are being given, like the customer excellence are given by Microsoft. This is based out of two main KPIs. So this metrics would be revenue, and the second one would be productivity. So what they do is they take a look at how not the partner, but how the client organizations are doing once they have used the system that's been implemented by a partner. In this case, Hitachi has successfully been implementing systems that has brought them a lot of productivity, and of course, impacting or increasing their revenue. And because of that, we have consistently been awarded as Microsoft Partner of the Year. So it's not just the accolades that we are bragging about here, but it is proof of our excellence in implementation. And well, do not take a word for it, take the experts. These experts have really made a study on the performance of different technological companies. And according to Forrester Wave, for Microsoft D365 services as of the last quarter of 2019, Hitachi Solutions has been recognized as a strong performer. And this is across a 30 criteria evaluation, and out of which we've aced it for the implementation services and innovation roadmap. We've received a perfect score there. We have, of course, a global market presence. We have delivery quality, and we have a 5-star customer satisfaction. And well, even with the excellence that we have, what's really important as well is for a partner to have a close relationship with Microsoft. And by this, we mean more accessibility to the resources, the wide resources that are available from Microsoft. In most cases, and I think a few of us may have been experiencing it if we are Microsoft product users, would be that, yes, it's there, it's user-friendly, we can always use it, but in times of, let's say, we are experiencing a challenge, how do we really get something resolved? In as simple as I have a problem with my D365 system or what other system in Microsoft, how do I get support for it? So with that, we would be the one bridging you, not just with the system that we are implemented for you, but also getting through the Microsoft network. Next would be our capabilities. So this is to give you, this is now what I mentioned earlier, that we are across different practices in Microsoft. And so this would give, or this would show us the presence and expertise of Hitachi solutions. So starting off with technology. So we build technologies around, because we are focused mainly on Microsoft. We are in Dynamics ERP, we are in Dynamics CRM. We have offerings around business intelligence and analytics. We also have field service automation. We have portals and collaboration. And we have, of course, our own Hitachi IP. Hitachi IP would be the solutions that we're building that is focused to a certain vertical, and this would be built on top of Microsoft, the Microsoft stack. And in this, we would see under industry expertise, those are the IPs that we have. But before we go there, in terms of people, our offering would be, or would include, change leadership and management. We also have training, and we also have consensus methodology. And with the IPs that we're offering, a few of those would be retail, transportation and maritime, financial services, professional services and real estate, manufacturing, and healthcare. In all these industries or verticals that I'm mentioning, the session for today, which is Power Apps, would be across any of this. So you would soon understand that it is across just about any application that you would need to provide your organization or your workforce with across different verticals here. And so also we have services around, we have managed services. So we have application management and support. We also provide hosting and management services. And finally, we have our Global Development Center. So now I'm moving to the next section of our topic today, and this is on the Microsoft Power Platform. So what you're seeing right now is the digital feedback loop, and we can see that in every business, there are 4 aspects that we need to consider. So we need to be able to engage customers. We need to optimize our operations. And in doing that, we are empowering our employees. And of course, we have to transform our products. Now, in this digital feedback loop, it starts off with the data. You would see on the blue dots that are moving that there are incoming direction. So that's capturing digital signal across businesses, followed by insight, which would be an outward flow. So this would be, once receiving all the information, we are then having actionable insights for all this data that we're getting across all spaces. So, and then on these actionable insights, we then convert them into steps that can help our business organization improve on our processes, as well as in return, or in effect, increase our revenue. With this, this would then, so as you can see, around engaging customer space, we have customer signal that's coming in. For empowering employees, we have employee signal coming in. We have operational data for operations, and of course, product telemetry. And what we're getting as a result, once we have improved the business outcomes, would be, in terms of customers, we'll develop a deeper relationship with them. In our operations, we'll have more efficient operations. In our employee space, we have more effective employees, because now they're able to focus more on what matters and what counts. And lastly, we have better products to offer them. Putting all those together, the last mile of the digital transformation would now be apps. So when we say apps, there are what we call the package apps. And under the Microsoft stack, we have a few that I'm mentioning right here. So we have sales and marketing and service that are focused on customers. Then we also have talent as well as service, focusing on the people. And we have operations and finance and service, focusing on products. And within this packaged apps by Microsoft, you will be able to build custom line of business apps, or LOB apps. Those are in purple dots. And this would be just about any processes that you may have or you may require in your organization. So yes, there are pre-built business applications available for us, but not all of them are designed to be catering to all of our specific requirements. And that's where the Microsoft Power Platform would come in handy. It will give a solution to those requirements or to those needs that you would have. So yeah, we're talking about all those apps. Easy to talk about it, but really, there's a lot of challenges. So at this point, let's try to identify. I know this is not all, but let's just try to identify a few of the challenges that we often encounter when building business applications. So there's the challenge around budget constraints. There's a challenge around time and resource constraints. There's the business expectations that constantly changes. There's paper processes that would sometimes make it impossible for us to really automate. And we have the complex processes, being that we may be coming from a different system, moving to a new one, then we would need to convert and translate all these processes, making them even more complex. We have the IT and business partnerships, which we all know that doesn't come out to be as harmonious as it can be all the time. We wish it would be, but at times there will be differences in the requirements and differences around the focus and directions on this unit. So that's also a challenge. Another challenge would be the legacy system maintenance. Most of us, in fact, here in the Philippines, a lot of us are working on old legacy systems. And with that comes the challenge that because it's obsolete, it's either, it cannot contain the data anymore, or it's not even fit for our growing business needs. Then also we have the shadow IT governance, as well as the leveraging existing technology. These are investments that we've had over the past years. We wouldn't want to just scrap them out. We want to make sure that they can still be used. So that's another challenge. And finally, of course, security and compliance. So I'm sure that everyone on the call would agree that these are not just the challenges in building business applications. There are more, but just highlighting a few. And with this, Microsoft Platform would help you, or Power Platform would help you address those issues by helping you build a web and mobile application faster and without limits. It also gives you capability to gain insights from your data regardless of where it lives. So it's a common scenario that we have siloed information. So the challenge is, how do you get a unified reporting or unified look for better analysis on all this information? And finally, Power Platform has enterprise-ready security and governance. So as and when you would need to scale up, Microsoft Power Platform can support you with that. You can start small and then scale up later. So for the Microsoft Power Platform, it is composed of three major components. We have the Power Apps, which would be our session for today, followed by Power BI and Power Automate. Power Automate would be more on workflows and integrations, so it's more of a connector as we can think of. And we have Power BI as a tool that would help us in analytics and reporting. And with this can be connected seamlessly to other Microsoft products, which would be Dynamics 365, Office 365, and even the standalone apps. And with all of this, it is using Common Data Service for apps, and it has pre-built data connectors, which you will see later on how quickly and how easily you can connect data. So all of this are sitting in Azure, so that makes the data centralized. It gives centralized security, and it gives you the ability to scale up because it is all sitting in Azure. Now, focusing more on Power Apps, what it does simply is that it helps you build and consume solutions for web and mobile. So with here, you're able to build highly customized task and role-based Canvas apps. Canvas apps would be the apps that you're seeing on your phone, the apps that you download from App Store. Those are what we call the Canvas apps, and it with data from one or multiple resources at that. And it also helps you generate immersive model-driven apps, starting from your data model and business processes. Model-driven apps would be, it's not the same one that you're seeing on your phone, but it's the one that controls data that's coming out of your phone, and that is often viewed from a desktop. So if any of you is familiar with customer engagement, it's more like that. And finally, it helps you consume fully accessible apps across web and mobile, embedded or standalone, or on any device. And with all these three, you would notice that it's enterprise grade. As I mentioned, it's scalable. It also is available on both cloud and on-premise connectivity, and it has pro developer extensibility. Now, while yes, it has pro developer extensibility, so just about any complex requirement there can be, any developer can work on it using the Microsoft Power Platform, but also on the other end of it, it's also very easy to use. There's what we call citizen development, and citizen development would mean someone who is a business user and does not even know programming can come up and create his or her own app or an app for his business or team. So with that, it gives them the ability to translate just by simply dragging and dropping objects instead of doing the conventional coding and scripting. So we will see that later on once we cover the Power Apps walkthrough. Next will be Power Automate. So for the Power Automate, it gives us the ability to automate and integrate business processes. Now with this, coming from different sources, there can be different models that we would like to apply and automate in our across the organization. And this would be across different apps and services. Power Automate would be the tool to use for it. It also, from simple automations to advanced scenarios with branches, loops, and more, it gives you the capability to build from simple up to complex connectivities. Then it also triggers actions. The likes of granting approvals and getting notifications right where you work are just a few of the benefits that you will be getting out of using Power Automate. In today's session, it is more focused on Power Apps because we're just covering apps in an hour. But later on, you would see in our succeeding, stay tuned for succeeding webinars. This is up until July, and you would see a few of this being demoed. So we have another session for it. If you're interested, feel free to register. Then we have the CDS, or what we call the Common Data Service. So the Common Data Service puts all your data to work with this tool. And what it does is mainly, think of it more like a repository or sort of a database of all those information that are coming from your apps and then being moved over to other systems by Power Automate and being analyzed by Power BI. So technically, this is where it's sort of a data warehouse where it stores the information. And it also stores, if you're familiar with the word, it stores the metadata or the framework or the structure of all this information that you are reflecting into your app. And also, it helps you jumpstart apps by using a standardized data model with business logic, security, and integration that's built in. Then it also helps you extend your own needs and integrate across your apps and services. And because it is a Microsoft product, it has a seamless integration with the other Microsoft products, so namely Dynamics 365, Office 365, and Azure. And finally, we have the Power BI. So as mentioned earlier, this is the tool that we're using commonly for analytics and reporting. So it allows you to gain insights from your data regardless of where it lives. So with the use of Power Automate in fetching data, it can be converted into meaningful information for you to use for your decision making with the use of Power BI. So it helps you connect all your data and get a consolidated view across your business through a single pane of glass. It helps you create ad hoc analysis, live dashboards, and interactive reports that are easy to consume on the web and across these mobile apps as well. And it helps you build smart apps by infusing insights from your data and drive action with the power of Power Platform. So this also will be covered on a different session. So stay tuned for that and feel free to register. All in all, with all those products combined with Microsoft Power Platform, it gives you the benefit of seamless Dynamics 365, Office 365, and Azure integration, along with connectors to more than 200 data sources. And this is what we call sophistication. which can help you then bring about the same results that our customers have been getting. So here are a few of our of the popular brands that are using Power Apps, and according to the total economic impact of Power Apps, this is a commissioned study conducted by Forrester Consulting. This is as of March 2020. There's over 188% ROI that they are getting over 3 years. There's over 74% reduction in application development costs. And what's even more attractive here is that there's about 3.2 hours average improvement in line of business employee productivity. So what it's telling us is that more of the time of these employees are being spent now on making business decisions rather than gathering the data, getting them from different sources, converting them to a format that's workable for the analysis that you need to make before coming up with the reports that you would be needing. So with all those time being spent there, those are not time spent wisely on business actions, but instead with Power Platform, they're able to make it and ramp it up, improve it to 3.2 hours a week on an average for the improvement on those time spent. So now with the Power Platform, that's just a brief introduction. So again, for today, we will be checking on Power Apps. And so to get this, since this is in an app in an hour, we would like not just to show you the tool, but also give you some basic learning to it. And if you would want to try it on your own, please you can always go to powerapps.com, and you may log in if you want to register for a trial environment and play around with it. You can go to trials.dynamics.com. Okay, so I am now ready to go through the Power Apps demo walkthrough. And for that, let me just, as I've mentioned earlier, I am showing this. This would be shown in 3 sections. We first cover the layout. The second section would be covering the demo. So we made an app. I'll show you how to use it. And just, this is a very simple one that we're doing so that you can follow. And the last and third portion would be the walkthrough. So in this walkthrough, what you can expect is for you to learn. We will now try to recreate and try to create a form from what we have seen in the mobile app that's been demoed, and see that it can be done in just a few minutes, even less than an hour actually. Okay, so let's now start with that.
Now let's go to the Power Apps Canvas Studio layout. What you're seeing right now is what we call the Power Apps Studio, and it's designed to have a user interface that's familiar for Office, just like an Office suite. And it has 3 panes and a ribbon that would make the app creation feel like just building a slide in PowerPoint. So the 3 panes would be this one, this is pane number 2, this is number 3, and the ribbon would be at the top. Now let's take a quick look at, or quick tour around the studio components. So let's start off with the left navigation pane. This is where you will see all the screens and data sources and controls in your app. So right now we can see the tree view. We have the screens. We can also search on different components. And if I expand on this, I would see right now that's the tree view. Should I want to insert more elements to it, I can always look at these components. Then we also have the data sources. Data sources would be, an example would be Dynamics customer engagement, where you will be sourcing the information from, or typically we call it the common data source. And we also have media. So in here we don't have any yet. And then advanced tools. The advanced tools allows us to monitor what's been happening or understand the performance of the app that we have just launched. And also it's also where we will be putting tests for experimental purposes. Let's go back to tree view and go to screens. So here you can see main screen, which we are looking at right now. This is where we will be adding a screen later on. Next, we have the middle pane. The middle pane is where the app screen can be found, and that's what you're working on. So this is the area right here. The third part would be the right-hand pane, which you're seeing on the rightmost section. The right-hand pane is where you configure properties for controls, bind to data, create rules, and set additional advanced settings. Next, we have the property drop-down list, this right here. This would allow you to select the property for the selected control that you want to configure. So as an example, we currently have fill, there's also height, there's also unvisible. Next, we have what we call the formula bar. So the formula bar works, if you notice, it works more like Excel. And this is where you add formula that would define the behavior of a selected control. Next, we have the ribbon right here. From this new screen point up to the whole stretch right there, that's the ribbon, and that's where you perform common data actions, including customizing design elements. And lastly, we have the additional items section. This would be the one right here. And this is where you'll find your environment selection, the app checker, and the preview app functionality. Okay, so now let's take a quick demo of the app that we have prepared for today. So this is called the Site Inspection app. And the main scenario is in a condo unit. If you will be turning over the unit, you would have to do a final tour with the client and ensure that everything is perfectly in great condition. So with this, we have this form, and we will try to recreate the form later on as part of our app in an hour exercise. So let me just minimize this right here before we start so we have more space, and let's have a preview of our app. So what you're seeing right now will be exactly how you will be seeing it from your phone or from your mobile application. So right here we have the main screen. It shows me all the inspections I've done and several other areas. So we have the Mebel residence. We did an inspection for Raymond Silva, one for Chelsea on Perch residences, for Thea and Amaya, and Perch for Johanna. So you can see that you can always add here. But before that, let's take a quick look at Mebel residences for Raymond Silva. I have all the information right here. So the inspection time was 9 a.m. It's with, the agent is Franklin Ignacio. The buyer is Raymond Silva. Then it's on Mebel residences. It's on Tower 1, Unit 303, and it comes with the parking. So if we scroll down further, we see that on the kitchen area, the plumbing and sink are all good. On the living room area, the cable and telephone provision, lights, as well as lights, are in good condition. However, the outlets are not on perfect condition. So it's noted that power outlets are not working. Then on the bedroom area, the lights, power outlets, and flooring are marked to yes. And same is true with the bathroom area. So everything works to be fine except for the power outlets in our living area. So now, let me just quickly take a look at this. If I click on Mebel Residences, it gives me the picture. We have an image here of the property as well as a description of it. So, and then this is also where we can put in the address for this particular condo complex. Now let me just get back here, and and at the top you can see that you can actually delete the record or edit it. So for this example, let's just try to quickly edit that. When we are on the edit mode, you can see that the fields now have drop downs. So as an example, we have the property, which we can see that these are predefined values. So we have Perch residences, Bloom residences, Phantom residences, all of which, if you would just imagine, are connected to your system. In this case, it will be CRM through the CDS or the Common Data Service. And so with this, whatever changes I will be making here will be reflected automatically in my CRM or customer engagement. So here I can see all those details, and I can see from the kitchen area it has a yes or no. And then right here, let me just make a change because the client decided not to push through with the parking unit that they're getting. So let me just change this from yes. Let me change this to no. Automatically, you'd see that we don't have the parking slot number anymore. Okay, and so let's save that. It gives me a notification that it's been completed. If I hit on back, it's now giving me the same record, but on view mode this time. So now I take a quick look of the change that I made. So parking is now set to no, and that's all good. So let me get back now to my main screen, and that's it. So now that we have made an edit, let's just quickly create a new one. Okay, so now notice that there are mandatory fields right here. So all this can be set. There are two ways of doing this. This can either be set from your mobile app, or you can also, this would also be mandatory fields that are coming from CRM. So in this case, we have 4. Now, let me select the date and time. I want it to be scheduled tomorrow or this Saturday, and I want it to be done at 9 a.m. And here, the agent would be Franklin Ignacio, and the buyer would be Kian Reyes. And on the property, he is checking on phantom residences and is looking at Tower 3, and it's unit number 308. And he's also interested in getting a parking, and the parking slot assigned to him is 522. Now, on this, let's take a quick look at, so now we're having the inspection with Kian. So we can see that the sink is okay, the under sink cabinet is okay, plumbing is okay. Let me put a note here. So kitchen is all clear. Next, we have the living room. So cable and telephone provision is okay, the lights are okay, but I noticed that on the power outlet, it seems to be lacking one, or there's a request to have another one. So let me just, client requesting, so let me add that in here. Client requesting for another outlet. Okay. And then on the bedroom area, the lights, power outlets, and flooring are all good. So bedroom area, all clear. Then we have, lastly, the bathroom area. So plumbing and toilet and bath are all good. So bathroom, all good. With this, I'm now ready to save the record. So let's quickly do that. It gives me a message that the record was successfully completed, created rather. I hit on back, and now you would notice that I'm now seeing 5 records. Earlier, we only had 4 records up until Johanna here. Then now we have the phantom residences for Kian. So this is the record that we just created. Let me just quickly open that to inspect. Okay. So here we see that it's scheduled for Saturday at 9 a.m. It's for, the agent is Franklin Ignacio, and the buyer is Kian Reyes. The property is for phantom residences, and he's looking at Tower 3, Unit 308. It comes with the parking slot number 522, and all the inspections are right here. So kitchen is all clear, and we see that on the living room area, there is a note saying client is requesting for another outlet. Okay, so, and then if I hit on back, I'm back on the main screen, and that's basically the simple app that we have right now. So later on, we will be simulating, and what we will do is we will be trying to recreate a form that is used for entering the data, and how it will be automatically connected to CRM or to CDS. So that's what we're going to be doing. Right now, notice that it's in red, and later on the record that we'll be creating will be in blue. Okay. So now let's create our own template. Let's exit this and go back to our Canva Studio. So we're at the main screen right now, and it's currently selected. And our goal is to create a new form where the data can be entered and it will be saved automatically into CRM. So let's start that process by clicking on New Screen right here. There's a lot of templates available for you, but let's just select blank. And when I do that, it shows me another screen, but here let me double click on it so I can rename it to add screen without a space. And then let's click an item. If I click on this right here, you'd notice that on the left hand side I have all the components available. So I will just be selecting rectangle. And with that selection, I now have the rectangle that will serve as my background for my header, and I will now put in a label. So on the label, I can either click it from the ribbon right here, or I can go to the left-hand side and click on text label. So let's use the one from our ribbon and then put in site inspection. So now let's expand it in order to occupy the rest of the backdrop that we selected. And let's go to the properties. I want to change it to a bigger size. It's not 30. From normal, I want it to be set as bold. And then I want to change the orientation. So I want to have it as in the center. And I want to change the text color to white. So in doing that, I now quickly have my header right there. Now next is we need a form where we can add all the fields where all this information can be entered into. So let's go back to the ribbon. Let's select Forms. Click on Edit. Let's drag it down and have it completely fill the form. And you'd see that there is no data source selected yet. So let me I can either click on this, it would route me to the sources right here. This is where all your data sources would be, or I can also select it from here. So let's just select it from Inspections, okay? And this is connected to your CRM. If in case you have, in realistic implementations, of course, you would have integrations. So if it will be integrated to other systems, then it'll be done through the Power Automate, and you would see all of those sources available in that list. So now I have 3 fields automatically put in the system. Remember how I mentioned mandatory fields or information can be put in the form. It can either be set up in the mobile app itself, or it can be sourced out of CRM. In this case, these 3 fields have been sourced out automatically from that entity that we selected, and the buyer is set up to be a mandatory field. So let's go to the fields. Let's click on Edit Fields. And I actually just need from these 3 the buyer information. So let me remove the created on, let me remove the name. So now that I have it, let me add other fields. Let me add inspection, date and time. I want to add that. And I also want to add information on, we already have the buyer, so let's put in the agent. I have the agent. Then let's put in the property. Okay. And then let's put in the unit. And then let's put in tower. And finally, let's put in the parking fields. So we have the parking and parking slot number. So notice how I was just typing it in here instead of just selecting from the field. I did that because the order of selection would also define the order of how the fields will be put into the form. So now automatically I can see it here in my screen as well as the list right here, and it's automatically expanded to show the properties. So let me just minimize them for us to get a clearer look at it. Okay, and so I have all of this information, and I want to move the inspection date and time at the top. I can simply do so by just dragging it. Now you'd notice that inspection date and time is at the top now, followed by the buyer and then the agent. Let me also move the agent, so let me just click and move up right here because I can also do it from my ellipsis. So I have the inspection date followed by agent and then buyer. Now notice how on this part right here I only have the inspection date and time as well as buyer as mandatory. I want to have the agent and property as mandatory fields as well. So what I can do is just simply, I just have to select on the form. So let's go back to the tree. And on this form, I want to select on it rather. So I want to go to agent, sorry. And on the agent, from there, I'll click on advanced. I just simply have to unlock the change properties and see the required field. So this is where you would simply update it. From false, you just have to change it to true. It sets it now to mandatory. Let's do the same for property. Let me click on it and then update it to true as well. So now I have 4 fields that are mandatory in my form. Okay. So next to this, I will be adding the fields for my inspection. So for the purpose of example, let's just select the kitchen area. But before I do so, I will be adding a data card to it. So a data card would be more like a tab or a separator for all the information that you would have. So now let me go back to the fields. On this edit fields, I would see that there is an ellipsis right next to add field. Let me click on that and select add custom card. So now this custom card or data card that's shown here would be this right here. So let me click on it, and then let me minimize it because it will just be a separator. And let me add a new label to it. So when I add the label, I want to put in kitchen area. And then for this particular label, I want it to maximize and completely cover my data card area. Okay, let me just close that a bit for now. And then let's set the properties for this. So for this particular kitchen area, I want it to be size 23, so it's bigger. I want to have it as left indented, yes, but I want it to be bold as well. So from normal, let me change it to bold. And then let me change the colors. So let me change it, the field to a lighter one. Let's select this. And then I want it to be in white. Or rather, I want to retain it as black. Let's just use that. Okay, that looks better. Okay, so I now have the kitchen area. Now I'm ready to put in the fields for the kitchen details. So let me just once again select on the form, then go to Edit Fields. In here, I have the Add Field option again. So let me add all the kitchen fields here by just typing kitchen right here. It gives me all of those. So I will be selecting all of them and then click on Add. When I do that, automatically you'd notice that I have all the information added into my form. Let me just scroll down. And you would see that it's also right here. So let me just minimize them so I can have it clearer look again. Okay, so right underneath the data card or our separator, we have all the kitchen details. But I'm noticing that my kitchen notes is right here, so I want to add it towards the bottom of the form. So I want to move it down. Okay, move it down one more. And it's now at the bottom. So that should be all the fields that I will be needing. I can continue adding more fields that I would want to add in there. So now we're at the point of, now that we have the form, we need to put in the capability of adding it. There are two, we call this the navigation features. So one is the submission of the form, that's an action. Then the second would be navigate back to the main screen. So here, we will be putting the add icon right here. We can select from our ribbon. And there are predefined icons that you can choose from. There's actually a lot of them. So for this particular one, let me select Save. And then let me drag this over here. And let me change the color. So I'm just changing it to white, so it is aligned with our theme. And of course, from here, let me just go to Advanced. Okay, so Advanced is where I will be putting in the instructions on what I would like to happen. So here, on select of this particular icon right here, instead of false, I want it to submit the form. So it will be Submit Form, there. And then it asks me which form I want to submit. So we renamed it as Add Screen earlier, so let me just do that. When I do it, it automatically gives me this, and then I just close that. So now we have our add screen right here. Okay. Let's just get back to it. Seems like we're not putting it correctly, so sorry, submit form, we would be adding, apologies, we need to add form 4. That is our form. Okay. I was adding the screen, and notice how I was seeing a red asterisk right there noting or telling me that there's something wrong with what I'm adding. That's because I was adding the screen, but instead I should be adding the form because it's submit form. Okay, so now that should give that functionality for saving the record. Next is I want to add an icon that brings me back to the main screen. So let's just simply add the left icon right there. Let's change the properties. I just want to align it with the theme again, change it to white. And then Let's go to the Advanced tab. On the Advanced tab, what we will do is, if earlier the other one was Submit, this is for navigation. So if I click on Navigate, we have this command. And on Navigate, I want to navigate back to our main screen. So the name was Main Screen. So if I type that, you would see here. You would see it here in the list. And now I'm ready for it. Okay. So now that's just basically it. We've completed the form and two functionalities in there, saving it or submitting the form. And the other one would be navigating, which is to bring us back to the main screen. Now, while on the main screen though, I mean, how do I launch this? So to do that, let's just go quickly to our main screen. And what we want to do is we want to add a button that would allow us to launch the form so that we can add in the fields. So let's quickly do that by simply selecting on button. So at the top right here, we have button. Let's do that. You see the button right here. Because we will have another record created earlier, so we need to have space in there. Let me just have it as, it can be wide, but it shouldn't be that big. So let's put in add new on the properties itself here. Let me add in here, add new inspection. So on add new inspection, you would see that it's available there. Now let me change the properties. So on the color itself, I want it to be changed. I want the field to be changed to align with the theme of this page. So it's in red now, okay? And on the properties, I want to change it. And in the same way that we had the back as a navigation for into the main screen, this will also be the same. It will also be navigate, but we will be navigating instead of the main screen because we are already there. We will navigate into our other screen. So that would be the add screen. So here it makes it available. Okay, so now that it's there, we are now ready and it should be good. Now let's take a quick look. So now in just a few minutes, we've actually created the form and we have put in a number of commands on the app. So let's just quickly take a look at it. Now when we launch it, there's one thing that we're missing, and I'd like to show you first. So you are still looking at the same form, Raymond Silva, Mabel Residences. This is actually the same app that we have, and we added earlier the Phantom Residences inspection for Key and Reyes. So now I'm ready to click on, instead of this, I want to click on Add New Inspection. And when I do that, notice that I'm not seeing anything yet. There is no, it's stating no item to display. So let me hit on back and instead go back to my Canvas Studio, and what I would need to do is go back to my add screen and then go to my form. On the form, let's just take a look at the properties. You would see right here that the default mode, I just want to highlight this, default mode is edit. That was the reason why we're showing a blank one. So instead, this is for a new one. So always bear in mind that this default mode tells us what the purpose or the main use for this form would be. So because we want it to be carrying new records or automatically creating new records, it has to be new here. And when that's been done, let's go back to save. Okay, I'm sorry, not save, but rather the play preview. Now we're back to the same form. We're still seeing the same 5 records. Now let's click on Add New Inspection. Earlier there was none, but now we're seeing the form. So it's that same form we did because the marker is the blue background. Okay, so now let's see if it works. Now quickly, I want to select Sunday right here, which is May 31st. And then I want it set up for 10 a.m. So on that, I will be having the agent Jane Ruiz for this, and the buyer will be Marl Rabina. And I'll be selecting the Bloom Residences, and this is for this is actually for Tower 3, and the unit would be 308. And then we have the parking, so the parking is set to yes, and the parking slot number would be 255. Now let's go to the inspection results. So on the kitchen flooring, on the kitchen area, so it's yes. Kitchen lights, let's mark it to yes. Kitchen plumbing, let's mark it to yes. And kitchen power outlets, mark to yes as well. Let's put a note here saying kitchen inspection, all clear. Okay, kitchen inspection, all clear. Okay, so now I am ready to save this record. Let's take a quick look at it. I'm good to go. So now let me just save this. Now, there is nothing that shows unlike our app earlier. That's because we didn't set it up. So now, let's just simply go back to our main screen. And you would see that now we have it added. So we have Marl Rabina for Bloom Residences at 10 a.m. on May 31st. So that's how quickly we're able to create an app. And that's precisely why we're just having this app in an hour session. With those, you can quickly build it.
Okay, so that ends our session for the walkthrough. I'm now showing on the screen the resources that are available. For you to learn more on it, you can always go to aka.ms/powerapps-resources, and you'd be forwarded to this page where there's a bunch of links that would aid you towards your deeper learning on Power Apps. So for the controls and properties in Power Apps, there is a guide that you can use for it. We have this, and you also have the formula reference for Power Apps. I would like to thank everybody for spending an hour with us. Thank you so much. And should you have any questions later on as you're learning through the app, or if you'd like to request for a demo, just feel free to email us at info@hitachisolutions.com. And also, we would like to request that you follow us in social media. We're showing right here the different handles that we have. That's in LinkedIn, in Twitter, in Facebook, and in Instagram. So once again, good morning or good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining.